the idea of this this session is to speak about this Scalable Model Toolbox. So yeah, just define the objectives, the stakeholders, how we engage the partners to gather information that we can put into this toolbox that would be useful for future cities, etc. We will also make a point about the recommendations. So we will remind what is a recommendation. We will also show to the group how the toolbox works. And yeah, just remind that we have some recommendation to write. So how do we write them, etc. Then we have a small break, and we will go through a mural exercise. So the idea of this mural is to, yeah, as I said, to gather information from all the pilots and partners yeah, just to have contents to put into the toolbox and relevant content that could be useful for other cities or other territories that would like to implement such a shuttle in their city or commune or everything, and give them some relevant advice to make it possible. And so to finish, we will to conclude, we will present the planning for next steps of recommendations writing, and we will make also a point of about the lessons learned guide, and all information that we need from the partners. And we will conclude with an open discussion and question sessions if needed. Okay, so Palak, I can share the PPT if you want.
Yeah, I think many people haven't joined it, so we can wait.
We can
for
start
2 or 3 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. What time is it? Yeah, we can wait 2 minutes.
Yeah, we can wait for 2 minutes.
I think we can start. Palak, what do you think?
Yeah, sure.
I think other people will join during the meeting.
Or should we send them a reminder or send? Okay. Should we send them a reminder or we can start?
I think that they will join. Yeah, you can start.
Okay. So, hello everyone. Good afternoon. First of all, thank you very much for your presence today. So, as you all know, today's workshop is more focusing on the scalable model toolbox and its evaluation. So, let me start with the presentation structure. As you can see in the screen, so this is the structure for today's main agenda for the today's presentation. I will start with the explaining of scalable model toolbox and how it is important as in the R2A project. Then I will go ahead with the pilot challenges and the issues. So, and how we came across the scenarios and what were the ideas behind the scenarios to overcome those challenges. And then I will explain the list of recommendations which we will be putting into R2A toolbox. and then it's a detailed recommendation plan. So how we going to write it in detail, and how we should set a good example for the toolbox. And in last, we will discuss the timing, I mean the further next steps for lesson learn guide and the recommendation writing for the to the all stakeholders and all the partners. Yeah, you can go ahead with the next slide. Yeah. So what is a scalable model toolbox? So I would like to give you an overview about the toolbox. So this will help and deliver the information on the major parameters and which will help us to draw the better solution from the pilot challenges, and it will ensuring the positive impact. It will ensuring the positive impact on the user side. It will also assist in the different authorities and users to integrate the autonomous shuttle into their daily functional need, and this will be also helpful in to make to set an example that autonomous vehicles set as a, I mean as a run as a smarter and greener mobility. So, and what will be the output? So, Toolbox will provide at least 5 sets of scenarios, and to cater each of the scenarios, there will be a different recommendations in detail. So this can help us the better understanding and providing the information from the user perspective, and the requirement to run the successful pilot project, and to set an uh, uh, better example for the future autonomous vehicle project in within the EU. Okay, so next slide. So I will let me explain the challenges. Can you go ahead? So these are the main highlights of the challenges from the different pilot that were already conducted. From the so we came across this different issues. So the major issue was the delay in pilot due to the procurement process of shuttle, and there are many other issues that we face, like the citizen engagement and the communication gap between the different authorities and stakeholders, and the changes, last minute change in the route during some hurdles and construction works. So this can lead to be infrastructure issues and the technical issues. So there is also a incident happen in the so there was no incident response plan. So that was the another major issue we can say, and the mechanical issues. And so the and on the other hand, we have secondary issues like the data collection issues. There was a problem, and hence we could not collect the relevant data, and we haven't recorded the data. And always the coordination gap was there, and reliability and safety issues from the user perspective. So from this issue, uh, so these are the main highlight of the issues from the different pilots. And now go to the next slide. So these were the ideas behind the scenarios. So how we came across the different major parameters, and we think a lot about the challenges, and we came across the parameters from the pilot issues. So this is the first parameter, which is the social acceptance, because it's really useful to identify the potential user and their needs. Then the second is technological advancement. So we always need the better understanding of technology and what's going on in the market, and the data driven technologies and real-time data sensors, so we can collect the good data. And the third is affordability and reliability, so from the user perspective. And next, sorry, yeah, so how we can set as a good example for mobility as a service. So the shuttle will serve last and first mile connectivity for the local public. And in the last, it's yeah, the strengthening the public transport, how we can integrate with the uh, existing public transport and make it and how we can increase the ridership and make it more sustainable. And in the last, the uh, main is the safety. So this were major focusing on the users that we conducted the pilot. So many users we saw the complaining about the safety and reliability. So we also focus on safety as a main major parameter. So now browsing into the scenarios. So after keeping in mind the major parameters and to overcome the challenges, we draw the 7 scenarios. So first is safe integration with the existing public transport service. The second is the facilitating access to tourists, so we can make it more reliable and attractive for all the user groups. And third is raising awareness. Fourth is accessibility of for the employees. So this is more focusing on the commercial perspective. And fifth is accessible. It should be accessible for all. So like disabled person, for children's, and for visually disability people. So it's focusing on the social side. And six is on demand for users. So how we can serve them the end-to-end connectivity as per their demand. And the seventh is integration with the infrastructure, because infrastructure plays always a important part within infrastructure, and we cannot go ahead. And these are the stakeholders we identified. So these are the main 5 user groups. So first is the citizen and public authorities. Second is the public transport operators, and the third is the citizen representative employers, and fourth is technology provider, and the last it's researchers. So this is the implementation phase, how we can interlink these scenarios and target users to the phases wise. Uh, Now, next slide. Yeah. So this is just to show you the toolbox. I mean, this is the how it's gonna look like, and how we can set the filter, and how we can play with the filters and the different scenarios. So this will presenting. Yeah, yeah. So this is just a back office view, how we can enter the detail of each recommendations and scenarios into directly into the toolbox, and what will be the expected outcome of the recommendations and references. Yeah. So now coming to the recommendation. So how it's important and how we can make it useful in for the our right to autonomy project, uh, and how it's going to impact on the toolbox. So after considering the issues and the scenarios, so we decided to provide 30 recommendations. And so it's basically a recommendations is basically a learning or action to I mean for the best course of action, and especially, yeah, so for any research or project. So the scope of this toolbox will be the acceptance of CAV, and how we can aware the user. Yeah. So, and how we came across the recommendations. So we have considered the project findings and from the project from the R2 itself. If we consider the user acceptance surveys and awareness, what was the technological methodological setup in the pilot sites, and we also consider the sister projects, and so we can set a good example from the all over the world and from the all the different scenarios to provide a effective recommendation. So now let me show you the example of the recommendations that we already set, and we already uploaded in the SharePoint, so you can have a look. Yeah, so these are the list of recommendations. So this is already uploaded previously in the SharePoint. So you can have a look there also. So yeah, and next. Yeah, so how we are going to propose a recommendation in detail, how we are going to write it. So first is content. How it should look like in the template and in the toolbox. So we can provide a good illustration to the relevant recommendations. For we already set example for, I think, for two recommendations, which Manon will explain in later this at the end of the presentation. Yeah, and the description should be always the concise and the constructive. No, we should not only focus on the problem, but we should provide a good example for the solution from the different case studies, and we can refer a good practice or good example from other case studies. Yeah, and we can provide the reference, and last is acronym. Yeah, so it's a similar word. And on the other hand, what is toolbox going to look like? So we will provide the target user groups, as we already finalized the user groups, and what will be the expected impact, how it's going to uh, in which implementation phase the recommendation will be set and the scenario will be set, and what will be the source, and in last the keywords. So yeah, there are going to be 30 recommendations, but as of now we have finalized the 29 recommendations. But yeah, if you have any doubts, we can edit or modify those 29. And if you have a good idea, yeah, your ideas will be always useful. And yeah, so this is the similar how we should write the recommendations. So how it should look like in the detail and in the toolbox. As I mentioned, it should be short and concise and constructive, and how we are going to make it effective toolbox. Uh, and now I will give hand over to my colleague Manon, so she will going to explain the template in detail, and she will show the example of the recommendation, and she will also be demonstrating the R2A toolbox. Yeah. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. So yeah, I think first of all we can start with the demonstration of the toolbox itself. I think I have to switch. Okay. So if you click on the same link, you can visit the present toolbox. So as you can see, there are the scenarios right there. So if you select scenarios, I don't know, for example, raising awareness, we can you can see the different recommendations that are linked to that scenarios. But also, yeah, we have other filters and subcategories that we can play with. So in terms of design and aesthetic, we know that it's very basic, but we can improve somehow the design, but we don't have a lot of possibilities with the tool that we use. But I think the main thing is to be able to visit in an easy way the toolbox and offer the cities and visitors of the toolbox everything that they are looking for, every information that they are looking for. So, for example, we have written 2 recommendations. So these 2 ones, if we click on it, so we have title, description, the text. We have for each recommendation an example and good practice that is explained here. And we explain also the expected outcomes of this recommendation, which is at the end an advice. And we put all the time the references and useful links. Here, so we just written the name of the sisters project, but we can also put the link directly. And what is interesting to do is that we can save it. We can save this page as a PDF, so it's easy to consult, and so we can print it, etc. The user can just make kind of fishes that they can keep or have in hand. And so yeah, this is basically the how the toolbox look like. You can visit the website if you want to play with the filters. So for now, we don't have all the recommendations written yet, but I will reshare my screen. So you have in the SharePoint all the necessary materials that you will need to draft and to write the recommendations. So we have here this. Yeah. So we have first of all this table that we've made so with our team where we have all the scenarios. Yeah, we have all the scenarios here. We have the implementations phases. We have the target groups, and for each recommendation, so you are in and so we have an ID, and we don't write the same recommendation 3 times. I don't know. So for each one, then we will put an assigned reviewer when we will have the recommendations completely written. And yeah, so this is the plan. So we have, as Talak said, we have now 29 recommendations, but if you have any other ideas, or if you think that we can merge 2 recommendations in one, or if we need to rephrase, or if there is a problem of wording, or etc. If you think that some recommendations are not very clear, or I don't know, you can have a look to this table and make comments and send us your feedback. It will be really helpful for us, and we can also put more recommendation if we think that we missed something, or if I don't know, we have 3 or 4 other relevant recommendations that should be into the toolbox, that should be helpful for other cities, it's welcome. Oops. So then we created a template for to help you to write recommendations. So all these links, you can find it in the SharePoint, but we will also share the PPT, so you will have all the links and the information necessary to write the recommendation. This is the template. So basically, this is the structure of the toolbox itself. So for each recommendation, we will need a picture, we need a small description, a text, of course, but also good practice, expected outcomes, etc. As we've seen just before. Here, so you just have to put a tick to tell which key areas and which target groups the recommendations is linked to. Etc. So you can find this template in the SharePoint, and you can fill it in. We will speak about the planning after this meeting, but yeah, we have to write them quite soon. And so to finish, we have written these examples of recommendations. So you have a better idea of what it should look like. So yeah, here, as I said, we can add the links directly to the sister project website. And yeah, very important thing. So about the acronyms, we all are in this now in this mood and in this sector of autonomous shuttles, autonomous vehicles, etc. But we have to keep in mind, I think, that the users of the toolbox will not be necessarily expert or just familiar with this vocabulary, etc. So don't hesitate to put acronyms with their meaning to make it easy to read for everyone. So yeah, each time we put a different tick. And yeah, this is a second example now. So yeah, basically it's what it should look like. And yeah, so we will speak about the planning later. Now I propose to, I don't know what time is it. We can go to the mural now, and we can make a break, small break at 3 p.m. if you want. So Palak, could you, or maybe no, I can do it. I will put the link of the mural in the chat. It will be easy. If you have some question or comments at that time, please don't hesitate. Okay, so I will just put the link to the mural into the chat. If you can click on it, we can go to this small exercise. I see Wolfgang. Alec. Does anyone have access to the mural? Or sometimes there are some issues, technical issues. Okay, I see.
I have some technical issues with the Wi-Fi. Your screen froze up on me a bit ago, and I'm not getting the chat yet.
Okay. Maybe what I can do is to make a screenshot of the mural and send it to, I mean, put it in the chat for the ones who cannot join.
Yeah, I had a similar problem with the Wi-Fi. I think it was
Okay.
freezing, so I didn't see what is happening the last 3 times we switched.
I will put the screenshot in the chat so you can just follow the discussion.
Hi, everyone. I think I'm joining via browser and I don't have access to the chat for some reason.
Okay. So it's Christian?
I have also the same problem. No.
Okay. So I can.
Yeah, I'm in the app and I don't see anything in the chat.
Okay. If
maybe Manon, we can send a email. I mean, link
yeah, we can send emails. So I will put it in the loop of the previous email.
Because if you don't download it, the application maintains.
Yeah.
So no one will open the chat box. So.
An email where there is everyone in it to make sure that everyone gets the link.
Strange. Still now I did not get an email.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to find a previous email where there is everyone in it. But I can't find the invites of the workshop.
Okay.
My chat started working as soon as I typed something, just for others to know.
Okay, now I send the email. Just tell me if it's okay.
Yeah, we got an email.
Okay, great.
Perfect, thanks. I got it.
Okay, great. So I propose we can start. So yeah, the objectives of this mural is to gather information and relevant lessons learned, advice, relevant information that should be useful for the users of the toolbox. And the best idea to the best way to gather this information is to make you participate directly, so you can put your your lessons learned directly with a sticky note, and tell us a bit how did you face some challenges, what did you learn, also which if there would be one advice that you would tell to a future territory that would like to implement a shuttle, what's this advice would it be? And also, if you have, I mean, it's about what did you learn, but also if you would have make something different, what was the other way, or some things like that. And also at the end of this mural, if you have any other ideas of scenarios, or if you think we missed some target groups, or if we need to target differently the users, please don't hesitate. And we will also have a voting session with your idea about which recommendations are here, in that case, which sticky notes should be in the toolbox. So yeah, I propose that we start with the first question. So the objectives of the mural, it's more like to guide us into this exercise. But the first question would be, how did you face these challenges? So we put some of them, like the procurement issues, or the route designing, issues related to management, communication, stakeholders engagement, etc. I mean, you can put every challenges that you faced or you are still facing. But here are just some examples, but you can add some others if you think it's of interest. Yeah. So, for example, for the procurement issue, we noticed that it's I think the most common challenge that you faced. So just tell us, how did you manage it? How did you deal with this issue? And just tell us everything about your experience in implementation of shuttle. For the people who cannot participate to the mural, you can just participate. You can raise your hand and we will listen to you, or you can also put it, I don't know, in a paper, and after this session you can just send us your comments and your feedback by email or something.
Yeah, you can even put your ideas in the chat box directly if you have.
So here, I don't know who've written this sticky notes. What are AV-ready infrastructure elements in your network? Risk analysis per road type, etc. Is it also linked to how the shuttle will interact with other users of the road? I mean, other infrastructures, of course, but also with the cyclist or, I don't know. And this is an interesting point. Create a network of reliable and certified providers. So this was a challenge, but how did you organize this? How did you federate the providers and everyone to make it smart?
Well, hi, Manon. I wrote down that comment. It's Francesco here. And I don't know what kind of certification might be somehow provided, if that can be achieved by a certain amount of kilometers done by the shuttle that somehow guarantees a previous experience to operate it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So to somehow distinguish the most startup enterprise for more structured ones, let's say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that might be for a different kind of technology. Like if you're talking about telco, usually it's only big players operating. But when you go to smaller service, it's then becomes a kind of a jungle. So that was a bit the idea in the comment. Please help me out to write it down in a more understandable way. Feel free to modify text.
No, it's fine. Thank you. Yeah, and I think we all noticed that the shuttle legislation and regulation is not the same everywhere, and it seems that the coordination between everyone, every providers, every stakeholder is hard to organize, and yeah, the technology is hard to lead. Okay, here we have in several cases the final route is being
understandable, because if I walk in their shoes, I mean, every country they go operate, they face a different scenario. So if I look at it at the other side, I do understand it might be really difficult to operate, not worldwide, but even only on Europe.
Yeah, indeed. So here, yeah, we have huge sticky notes that tells a lot of things. So in several cases, the final route is being selected straightly from use case perspective and general technical and regulatory feasibility, 4G coverage, etc. But what's not taken into account is the operational service quality that can be expected from the autonomous shuttles, like how easy can other road users overtake the shuttle, and what would be the impact of operating the shuttle on the road on the overall traffic flow. This also impacts the social acceptance, of course, especially of other road users which are not taken in the shuttle, but need to deal with it on the street. Yeah, indeed, this is more linked to educational things, how we can raise awareness for everyone, even for those who doesn't use the shuttle, indeed, but how we deal with a shuttle running next to us in the street. Yeah, this is a huge work. So what was the most difficult in facing these challenges? Coordination of a technical and administrative issue. lack of previous knowledge. Yeah, it's why it's important to create a toolbox with all our experience feedback to help future projects. So here, lack of previous knowledge and yeah, hard to reach the right person to speak with. Does it mean that yeah, I mean, the idea would it be to have yeah, a reference person who is expert in yeah, in the technology of autonomous vehicles. That yeah, okay. Okay, great. Here we have authorities need guidance in setting up living labs, experimental designs, and cultural change. Yeah, define showstopper scenarios and agree on role responsibilities. Yeah, so basically everyone, I think, is almost agree on the fact that we need a person, physical person, that who leads the, I mean, who has words to say on everything. I mean, the pilot, the public transport operator cannot have the hand on everything, as well as the operational side or the commune. We need an authority that would be able to lead this implementation. Okay, great. I propose that we move to the question 2. What did you learn? And question 2B, which advice would you give to future cities? I mean, if you would have one advice, what would it be? So here it's an optimistic note. So yeah, you notice that, I don't know who put this sticky notes, but you've noticed that in an experimental framework, the rules and regulations can adapt, which is a good point, because we need this to move into something more practical and not experimental. So here, consider multimodal mobility when you design your road and public space. It's more so linked to infrastructure upfront. How do we consider all the means of transport, including autonomous vehicles? But yeah, so does it mean that we have to, I don't know, it's a question, but do you think that we have to reconsider every public spaces, even in small towns, in case of in few years we will implement autonomous vehicle, or shall we readapt the existing infrastructure without rebuilding everything? I don't know if I'm clear.
Well, yeah, if I well understood the question, I think it can often be the other way around. I mean, it probably such a vehicle adapts better to.
I can't hear you anymore. I don't know if it's me or.
No, I think it's disconnection maybe.
Yeah.
Small element such as antennas or other technological device. So
sorry, Francesco, we lost you.
The orthodox vehicle will keep circulating. We cannot delete them all at once. So it's important to me to also from our experience in the pilot to have a possibility to somehow use different
it's cutting.
I think his voice is breaking. Maybe he lost.
So yeah, realistic expectations from internally for needs.
So
here
do you mean? Sorry.
Yeah, no, please go ahead.
So what do you mean by the realistic expectations from internal efforts? So do you mean there should be a strategy to decide the budget or how it's going to run the project?
Palak, I'm sorry, but would you be able to share your screen? Because I think my mural is struggling now.
Okay, let me check if it's working. Sorry. So, do you see my screen?
It's coming. Yeah, it's okay now. Have a clear goal in mind for the pilots. Do you just want to do something innovative, or do you aim to, for example, test autonomous vehicles for future rollout in underutilized bus lines? Yeah, so here it's more like when you implement a shuttle, you would like to do everything, but it's not possible. So you have to really target your goal. How to raise positive awareness when the street must be shared by pedestrians, local stores, and an autonomous shuttle in operation. Yeah, this is a challenge that seems common to every pilot. So, yeah, how do we raise awareness to make it, to make the shuttle running more easily and also raise a kind of public acceptance? Okay. So we have some ideas. That's good. Okay. So what I can propose is to make the break now. Then we can go through the voting session on which ID should appear in the toolbox, and discuss after. If you have other ideas or scenarios that can be that should be into the toolbox. So thank you. We can take 10 minutes break. We go back at 17. If okay for you. Okay. Let's do this and see you later. Thank you, Parag. Okay, so we can start again with the voting session. Okay, so you can vote three options. So the question is, what should appear into the toolbox? So you just need to click on 3 different sticky notes that you think are the more relevant for the toolbox. I give you 5 minutes. So actually, it's more linked to the question 2B, which advice would you give? Yeah, if you, for example, I don't know if I take like link to Arcade or other sister projects, it's something that should be, in my opinion, into the toolbox. So you can also click on the other. You cannot. Even, for example, communication issues, clearly communicate the why and how to citizens, stakeholders, etc. So, yeah, the communication issues should be explained maybe into the toolbox, and yeah, we can write something about this. So I see, Francesco, you voted. Sunak is almost done. Parag too.
Sorry, are we just choosing from 2B or from anywhere?
No, you can from anywhere.
Okay.
But actually, yeah, the idea is to determine which advice should be into the toolbox. So it's more linked to the question to be indeed, but you can take information from everywhere. So we have still three people that need to vote, but I don't know if they are back in the meeting, so maybe we can end the voting session. Palak, maybe I will share my screen again because I don't think
it will not appear here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Now I can say.
So yeah. So two people selected. That raising awareness must be part of many advice. I think that would be in the toolbox. So how to raise positive awareness when the streets must be shared by pedestrian, local stores, etc., and an autonomous shuttle. Also, how we create a network of reliable and certified providers. So here it's more a question of coordination. How do we run a relevant project with different stakeholders that needs to be coordinated together, and of course a network of experts and providers, different public sector, public transport operators, etc. Will help a lot to implement a shuttle and to make it relevant and smart and safe and well integrated into the infrastructure, the existing infrastructure with different users, and have a clear goal in mind for the pilots. So determine some limits within the project. So do we just want to do something innovative indeed, or do we want to implement something that will be long term and permanent and well used by citizens and our employees, etc. So yeah, because indeed it's more easy, I think, to implement something innovative, but the hard part is to make it long term and performance for the users and do something well integrated into the public space. And then so we have so we have to take in consideration that there are a lot of other projects, a lot of other sisters projects that can help, and that we have to put light on them and integrate them to the toolbox, so the users can get lessons learned from the Ride2Autonomy project, but also from other projects that are quite similar, but also they have some differences, small differences that needs to be known from everyone that who wants to implement a shuttle. Also consider multimodal mobility when we design public space. So yeah, here it's more targeted to cities and public transport operators, I think. So yeah, consider the mobility as a whole groups, a whole thing, and not just saying, okay, we put an autonomous shuttle in our city, but we will just build another road just next to a cycle line, or I don't know. It has to be well integrated in the existing infrastructure, so the citizens and the users, the users of the public space can easily jump from a mean of transport to another, or just even if they don't use the autonomous shuttle, they can be aware of how it's running, how it's what's happened next to them, I mean. And then so we have authorities need guidance in setting up living labs, experimental designs, and cultural change. Accept failure as part of innovation. Yeah, indeed. And yeah, be aware that we noticed a lack of previous knowledge, and this knowledge must be we have to make kind of repertory of this knowledge to of course help future projects, and it's really important to gather these lessons learned and experience, because so we can have an history of the technology and the development of this technology, and so we can in a wide scale, we can see that we are progressing in this technology, but also that we learn from previous projects and previous feedbacks and previous experience that I mean, we are not reproducing previous mistakes, and it will be even better each time. It will be better and better thanks to this lessons learned. And pre-impact analysis. So this is so pre-impact analysis, scenario communication for mixed and MPV, another example. So this is linked to considering multimodal mobility, and make upfront analysis and scenarios to better understand how it will work. Okay, so thanks a lot for your ideas. Maybe now we can move to the last point.
I put my hand on.
Oh, sorry.
I have a question regarding the multimodality. What for the passenger, I think, is very important, that the ticketing is integrated so that you have one ticket for the whole trip. And also regarding passenger rights, I think the European Commission is now working on, till the end of this September, we are involved in that one, about both the ticketing and the passenger rights in multimodal, and that we don't forget that this is then also part of the automatic shuttles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
That's really a great point you notice. And even we also put recommendation for the ticket integration and fare integration and the toolbox.
Yeah, also the machines or whatever you use to validate the trip. I think that's important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it's helping a lot that technology to be indeed more integrated into a bigger transport infrastructure sector. I mean, yeah, the fact that we can have one ticket for different means of transport, as it's already the case for buses and trams, for example. If we integrate these autonomous vehicles into it, it will help a lot. Indeed.
Yeah, the ridership will increase. I mean, there will be more people using the vehicles transporting.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So we can put it here, for example. Okay. Thanks for this comment. We can we can add other ideas. We put other ideas of scenarios, but it also can be other ideas of recommendations, other points that should be relevant to put into the toolbox that could be useful for future projects. Or if you think that we missed, some target groups, or don't hesitate.
When you talk about target groups, I think seeing the speed of most of these shuttles, that's very slow. So let's say it's more dedicated for elderly people, people with PRMs, people with children, small children. I think this is the first target group. I think has to be this one, because seeing the speed, others will be faster by normal movement.
Yeah, no, you're right. We have a scenario linked to accessibility, indeed. So yeah, we speak about elderly people and children, but it can also be someone with luggage or something like that. Accessibility is very wide. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think also since the European citizen is getting older, I mean, they are not in the PRM, in fact, but they have still some problems in stepping in, getting seated, these type of things. And that's good that you say in your thing, accessibility for all. I think that's very important. We did that for CR, so the rail, already in 20 years ago, I think, but it's still not realized. But with a new product, I think you have to realize it from the beginning on.
Yeah, no, indeed. It was, I think, within the Fabulous project. One case was in a small town in Norway, and indeed there were many elderly people. It was the main target group, the main users of the shuttle, and it was the commune was in a very hilly area, and they just say that this technology have changed their lives, because it was really convenient for them, even if it's the speed is not that high. Just for 1 or 2 kilometers, it was just a big change for them, and it was a very successful use case. Scenario could be last mile accessibility to connect the public transport, especially outside the main city jurisdiction. Yeah, so we speak also about this last mile, first and last mile connection. Indeed, yeah, it's an important point too, and I think there is a very there is a big need, sorry, for this yeah, last mile and first mile connectivity. I think the shuttle, the autonomous vehicle would be yeah, very needed in that kind of place. Okay, so thank you for your ideas. I don't know if someone has something to add. Otherwise, we can move on and go to the planning and yeah, planning for next steps. Okay, I think it's okay. I will stop sharing. Go back to the PPT. Okay. So just to remind you, so these links are so in that PPT that we will send to you, but also the documents are all in the SharePoint, Ride2Autonomy SharePoint. Yeah, for the planning and the next steps, so we have to write these recommendations. Meanwhile, we can, as we said, make amendments and modifications of scenarios, of recommendations, of wording, of everything. Or if you have any feedback or comments, please send us an email to the Lux Mobility team or the knowledge partner team, so we can take into consideration these comments. That would be helpful for the relevance of the tool. And so now we've seen that a lot of partners put their name into this table sheet that I've shown to you previously. So we have now an idea of each partner. About each partner, we will write which recommendation, but now we have to fill in the recommendations template and write the recommendation entirely. So previously we said that we needed it by end of this week, but I know that after summer we are all very busy and everything is starting again, so we can have an extension to next week, Tuesday next week. So yeah, for everyone who puts their name in the table, so if you can yeah, write the recommendation entirely within the recommendations template, it would be great. And after this, so mid-September, we should have a discussion meeting together when we where we not compare, but where we discuss about the recommendations that we've written and how we can improve them. Maybe yeah, make a kind of peer review and yeah, review the recommendation of a colleague or etc. To just have not necessary to criticize, of course, but to have just to give an external point of view of what could be improved, etc. And after this discussion, so we will review all the recommendations. So, I mean, question of languages, etc., will be all corrected, so we can put it into the toolbox and it will be okay. And after this, so we will have a second session of writing recommendations by October. And we have an extension of the project till the end of November, but it's good if we are a bit in advance to not be in the rush at the end of the project. So we will ask you to send us this recommendation. So the first one by next Tuesday, if you can, it would be great. So thank you everyone for your attention. Thank you for your participation, and I will send you the PPT and with all the links, etc. And if you need something, or if you have other ideas or comments, please don't hesitate. It would be really helpful for us. And they are not bad ideas or things like that. Every idea is welcome, so don't hesitate. And thanks a lot. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you for your time.
Bye-bye.
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 Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Thanks.
Bye.